Everyone at the party noticed how she looked at the simple woman as if she didn't belong. Dressed in luxury from head to toe, the gold digger made sure everyone knew she thought she was better. She rolled her eyes, whispered cruel comments, and even laughed when the woman offered help with setting the table. No one expected the scene that followed. People turned their heads, pretending not to notice the tension. But the judgment in her voice was loud enough for everyone to hear. What she didn't know was that the woman she was mocking wasn't just another guest. She was the beloved wife of the billionaire hosting the party. At first, he watched quietly, letting the moment unfold. But when the insults turned personal, he stepped forward. The energy shifted. Guests stopped talking. Plates clinked down. All eyes were on him as he calmly but firmly addressed the gold digger's cruel behavior. What he said next didn't just silence the crowd, changed everything. The woman who once thought money could buy respect was about to learn a powerful lesson in front of everyone. But just when it seemed the confrontation was over, something unexpected happened that no one could have seen coming. The billionaire's calm voice cut through the noise, and suddenly, everyone was listening. He didn't raise his tone, but each word landed with weight. The gold digger froze, her smile fading as she realized who the woman she insulted really was. His wife, quiet, kind, and dressed, simply stood beside him, still holding a half-filled plate, too stunned to move. People around them began to whisper. Some tried to look away, while others watched every second unfold like it was a scene from a movie. But this wasn't just about a rude comment at a party. The tension had been building for weeks. The gold digger had slowly been making her presence known in his social circle, flashing wealth, bragging about her connections, and pushing others aside, especially anyone she thought was beneath her. No one had called her out. Until now, what made this moment so shocking wasn't just what the billionaire said was what he didn't say. His silence after his statement hung in the air, filled with meaning. The gold digger's face turned pale, but she tried to hold her ground, still unaware of the full truth, because what was coming next would not only expose her lies, but shake the entire gathering to its core. The air felt heavy as the billionaire's wife gently set her plate down on the table, her eyes lowered but steady. She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. The way she stood, quiet yet composed, said everything. Guests shifted uncomfortably in their seats, unsure whether to speak or stay silent. The gold digger, sensing the spotlight turning on her, tried to recover. She gave a forced laugh and said she was only joking, but no one was smiling. Behind them, an older woman whispered something to her husband. She had seen this woman before, years ago, under a different name. And she remembered the rumors, the stories of how she had bounced from one wealthy circle to another, always leaving behind whispers of manipulation. But back then, no one had proof. Now, eyes were opening. One of the billionaire's longtime friends, a man who had been quiet until now, leaned forward and asked her directly, "So, how exactly do you two know each other again?" Her throat tightened. The truth she had carefully hidden was beginning to crack at the edges. But she wasn't going to back down so easily. Not when she had come this far. Not when she thought she still had a chance to control the narrative. The gold digger's eyes darted around the table, searching for anyone who might still be on her side. But the shift was undeniable. Whispers were growing louder, and even the ones who once nodded at her stories now looked uncertain. The billionaire's wife remained silent, her calm presence only adding to the tension. She wasn't trying to fight. Back she didn't have to. The truth was unfolding on its own. One guest, a woman in a pale yellow dress, finally spoke up. She hesitated, then said she'd seen the same woman at another party in a different city posing as someone else's fiancé. That small comment opened the floodgates. More stories followed. Half-truths, strange coincidences, and red flags people had ignored. The gold digger laughed nervously, claiming they were all mistaken. But her confidence was slipping fast. Just then, a staff member approached the billionaire and handed him a phone. He glanced at the screen, and his expression shifted. He looked up slowly, locking eyes with the gold digger. "You weren't expecting this, were you?" he said, his tone still calm but firm. She took a step back, visibly rattled. Whatever was. On that phone, Nit was serious, and it was clear that the moment everyone had been waiting for was coming next. The gold digger's face went pale as the billionaire slowly turned the phone toward the crowd. No one could see the screen yet, but the way he held it made everyone lean in, their curiosity heightening the silence. Before he revealed anything, he calmly asked, "Does the name Daniel mean anything to you?" The woman froze. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came out. A couple of guests exchanged glances. Some looked confused, others shocked. One older man at the back stiffened. He knew that name too. With measured steps, the billionaire handed the phone to his wife. She glanced at it briefly, nodded, and turned the screen around. On it was a video, grainy but clear. It showed the gold digger in a heated argument outside a luxury hotel with Daniel, her supposed ex, who many believed had disappeared years ago under suspicious circumstances. Guests gasped, but the most shocking part wasn't just the argument, it was what she said in the video. "No one can know about us. If he finds out, everything falls apart." The room erupted into stunned whispers. Now it wasn't just about cruelty or status, it was about deception on a deeper level. And suddenly, people started wondering, who was this woman really, and what had she come here to take? The silence after the video played was almost louder than the gasps. The gold digger stood frozen, eyes wide, as if her carefully crafted world had shattered in a single moment. Guests backed away slightly, as though they no longer recognized the woman they had once admired. But the billionaire didn't raise his voice or cause a scene. Instead, he looked at her one last time and said, "You didn't just lie to my wife. You lied to everyone here." She opened her mouth to respond, but before she could speak, the front gates creaked open. A man in a dark suit stepped through Daniel. Not just a name from her past, but someone very real and very alive. People turned to watch as he walked toward the crowd, nodding respectfully, then stood beside the billionaire. "She promised me we'd both walk away rich. I didn't realize how deep she'd go," he said, his voice steady but cold. At that moment, the final piece clicked into place. Her entire plan had been exposed, not just social climbing, but a scheme to manipulate her way into the billionaire's inner circle for access, power, and control. The twist: Daniel had turned on her, choosing truth over greed. The betrayal she never saw coming was from the only person she trusted. The gold digger stood alone now, her silence saying more than any words could. No one rushed to defend her. Even the guests, who once smiled at her charm, now saw the truth behind it. Daniel quietly handed over a small flash drive to the Billionaire collection of voice recordings and messages that confirmed everything. It was over. The billionaire turned to his wife, gently took her hand, and said, "You were the only one who saw through it from the start. I should have listened sooner." She gave a soft smile, not out of pride, but from quiet strength. She hadn't needed to prove herself. Her character had done that for her. As the guests slowly began to leave, there was a new kind of energy, one grounded in respect, not wealth. People spoke kindly to the billionaire's wife now, realizing her grace and strength had always been the true foundation of the family. The gold digger left the estate in silence, her story ending not with applause, but with the consequences of her own choices. This wasn't just a story of betrayal, was a reminder that status fades, but character speaks loudest. In the end, true power came from honesty, loyalty, and quiet dignity.